London, a few friends from Hong Kong that I met through
Nice.
someone. They all work in like finance and stuff, so it was nice catching up with everyone because
Uh,
I'm potentially thinking of at some point, like even if it's just for a bit, going to Hong Kong. So it's nice getting the perspective and stuff. Everyone's wondering why I'm still in the
Hell
UK
yeah.
with what I do because the taxes here are atrocious.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm going to the UK for the first time in August. I may ask you for some light recommendations
yeah, of course, bro.
in
If you're ever
London.
in the Midlands, let me know. If you're strictly in
Hell yeah.
London, then I can give you some recommendations for there as well. To be honest, so
Love
yeah,
it.
just
Thanks,
just
brother.
send me a message, no problem at all. But yeah, I was also in Manchester for the launch of one of my friends' businesses. He's a private chef, very up and coming. So he launched his own business with private chef, and he serves like very high end clientele. So I was there for the launch of it and stuff. Um,
Hard to find these days. I've got a cousin who's a chef, and he's getting pulled every which way,
yeah,
trying to trying to get him into his restaurant.
yeah, it's especially with the private business, you need to have a clientele. You can't just. It's very hard to break into the scene. It's once you're in with someone, especially if it's obviously wealthy clientels, then you get word of mouth, you get recommendations, and that's where it really takes off. But I know he's already got some he's got links with like MasterChef, so on and so forth. So I'm sure it'll be fine. But yeah, I'll share the website here at some point too. So if anyone, especially London based, Birmingham based, does want a private chef experience, then I can hook you up. He's really really good. Like he's really really good. So there's that. But yeah, what I thought I'd do is I'll do like a 6 month close stream today because I couldn't do it the other day, and I wanted to do it this morning as well, but I had to run around this morning, so I couldn't do it this morning either. So I'll do a 6 month close stream today, hour and a half. We look at Bitcoin, we look at ETH, and a couple requests you guys have. I know, Rai, bro, I know you asked me to do DOT in DMs. I just haven't been able to do it yet, so we'll do that right now too. Plus some requests, and then tomorrow we'll do one on alts. Right, I'll make it like a two-part stream. We'll do one on more alts, um, and that'll be fine. I know I've got one-on-ones booked with a few people this week, and please don't kill me, but I might have to cancel some of them because I think I'll be running around a lot tomorrow too. This weekend I'll be away to Norfolk for a few days because one of my friends is doing an Ironman competition. I want to be there to support him because obviously like it takes a lot of training. It'd suck if I did all that and no one showed up. So I'll be in Norfolk for the entirety of the weekend, and tomorrow I've got a lot of meetings with different landlords just to see who I can get. Like if there's anyone else I can get outside of who I currently have for the third restaurant. Um, so I might have to cancel some one-on-ones this week, but next week I'll be over the next 2 weeks rather. I'll be very free. So whatever I do have to cancel this week, we can just rearrange over the course of the next 2 weeks. Um, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, apart from that, let me share my screen one sec, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so Bitcoin, you off, and then share. All right, can you guys see that? I haven't looked at the chart since I haven't even looked at the 6 month close yet, so I need to draw a lot of 6 month buy seller zones on, so on and so forth. But yeah, if you guys can see that, I'll just move on with it. ARR and Ether. I know I've heard about Ether before, but I don't own any. Well, we can look at the chart to be honest. If the chart looks good, then GPUs, containers. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at that too, bro. ATH. Yeah, no, I remember when that first came out, but yeah, I don't own any. Right, first things first. 6 month close. So I think 6 month close went really well on Bitcoin. Right, like we said it would. It's still within the parallel channel. So honestly, what I hope for is some early 6 month manipulation to shake people out. Um, one final dip, if you will. I don't know if we get it, but I'm hoping for it. But if not, just send it up. Right? I don't care. My bags are packed now. Right, all in spot. We'll look to build up some leverage plays again. But the bags are packed. So, but it doesn't matter what they do here now, right? The only thing to watch for is, like I was saying the other day, until we break out the parallel channel, hedge, right? Until we break out the parallel channel, if you see a good RR opportunity, hedge, right? That hasn't changed. But let's take a proper look at it. So first of all, out of things we're already used to, that 6-month close was one step away from being absolutely fantastic. If we had closed above 2024 12-month seller zone high, it would have been an actual godly 6-month close. We didn't. It's what it is, right? Which is why we're still contending with that as resistance. But let's notch it back a bit. So okay, so yearlies, nothing's changed in terms of buyer seller zones. Well, we do have a 6-month close, obviously. So fresh 6-month seller zone is going to be right over here. So now your line in the sand is you cannot lose 107, 180. Okay, if you do that, expect a deeper flush. I'm talking back down to 100Ks. Right, so I think it's going to happen if you lose this. So here it is. This is going to be, no, not this one. This is going to be 6-month 2025, no, 2025 rather. 6-month, what is this? This is going to be second half, first half. This is your seller zone low. There we go. Let me just do this. 2025 6-month first half, seller zone mid, and then this is your current first half all-time high, right? There we go. Line in the sands, 107, 180, 109, 573, 111, 965.8, right? These are your three line in the sand. So as long as we are above 107, 180 now, right, we are going to be targeting these two as our key support resistances. If we can get above 109.573, I think we go towards 120, so 118 to 122. That'd be the next target in my opinion, because that's where the ABCDs line up, right? 121 for 1-3. So here are our 6-month close key levels. Of course, we know we still have the yearly key levels from previous cycle to contend with. So if you turn that, of course, the 12-month buy seller zones on now, right on top of that 6 months, then the reason we are not breaking any higher is because we are still underneath 2024 12-month all-time highs, right? So we have an area then that needs to be flipped to support. If we can flip this area between 108.287 and 109.573 into support, I think we're pretty much clear to be catapulted all the way up to 121. Okay, that's what I'd be looking for. But if you go here, doesn't matter if you raid, if you start putting inverted smiley faces on at these local areas, I would think you have some more levels to chop around with. So come back down to this yearly level. If you lose that, come back down to this. Come back down to your, if you go to historical price range here, come back down to your actual mids, right? Your key inflection area and historical price range mids at this particular area here. So we have these lows to come back down to should we go and put distributive structure here, okay? But of course, that's only going to happen if we actually go and put this scenario in. So for now, based on the current 6-month close, your line in the sand is 107, 180. Okay, I would not want to turn this area into resistance, and I would not want to turn this zone into resistance, because you'd be turning the 6-month and the yearly into resistance if this zone gets treated, obviously, as an area where sellers take control rather than buyers. We do not want to see that, right? So over here, even if you really break down like this, you do not want to see inverted smiley faces popping up at this particular area. What you want to see is go flip it into clean support. Literally, go flip it into support. I think we catapult towards 120s, 130s, so on and so forth. But that is again another reason why I'm saying you are not going to be trigger happy on longing Bitcoin at this particular area. You're just not going to do it, right? Your risk to reward does not make sense for Bitcoin whatsoever, right? What does make sense is hedges. If you raid and you see sellers are taking control, right? You see a huge amount of aggressive buying going on that is not being rewarded. You see distributive structure, you see bearish divergences, you see any of these stuff, right? You see perhaps in the footprint charts, right? For those of you that have got that far, that Huge amount of market longs are coming in. You're seeing that, the ask side imbalance, right? You're seeing the buy side imbalance coming in, but then perhaps you see the absorption, seller buyer absorption going on. Any of these signs that come over here, you have a beautiful area to hedge. Okay, I'm not going to talk about hedges once we break down from this particular area. If you're going to hedge, you do so at areas like this. It's going to be scalp to swing mindset hedge first. Okay, but again, this zone is going to be a crucial one. On Bitcoin, very simple. Apart from that, nothing much has changed. If you look at the 6-month close, was it beautiful? Of course it was, right? It was an extremely beautiful 6-month close, because you closed the 6 months at an area, above the mid, let's say, of the area where sellers were in control the previous year, right? This right here, in fact, this is such a beautiful close. Like I said, the only thing that could have made it better is above 108 to 87. We didn't get it. It's what it is, right? Now, I would not care if they again ended up dropping this as a quick retest, right? I would not care if that happened, but I would be completely okay with them just sending this up as well now from here on out, right? Either way, like, it's what it is. We've already gone through first half, right? We still got a good close. We didn't get the best close, right? Obviously, in the sense that the best close would have been all-time highs, right? Straight up above 108 to 87, above the diagonals, and diagonals, of course, is something we need to look at as well, right? So if I go over here and I go to Bitcoin, so let's look at it in terms of diagonals to begin with, right? So we have 50 resistance fan downtrend, so we close below that. 50 resistance fan macro, and we have 50 resistance fan 1. Here we go. So again, if we take a look at it, look at that close, we're still holding that key area we wanted to be holding. This intersection, right? I'd say that the time frame for this intersection is pretty much, you've got maybe like a week, right? I'd give it a week, but after that, now you're looking for 136k or 142k. Those are the two intersections to the upside. If you still cannot get above this, right, and you start getting below this diagonal again, I do think we would visit this at this point, because we've stayed below this resistance for so long without breaking out, right, that if you cannot break out fairly soon, I would think you're going to get that aggressive move to the downside now, right? So again, remember, even if we do get this move to the downside, it is completely fine. What we do not want to do is actually lose this area as resistance, as support turning to resistance, right? That thesis hasn't changed. I'm not going to get into it because we talk about it all the time, but as long as this is support, we are fine. But if you do now have that early breakout, right, let's say July is the month where we start absolutely going ham to the upside, then your first intersection, for now, as long as it happened within, I'd say, like the next week, the first intersection would be around 125. But the more likely intersections at this stage is this one towards mid/end of July, right, at 142k, or around the mid of August, start of August-ish, around 135k. Those two are the intersections that I see currently. Okay, this one, I'd give it a grace period of a week, but time is running out for this one, right? The optimum time would have been all the way up here, and we didn't hit it. So even though it's possible horizontally, diagonally, we've got better, more confluent areas to look for. Okay, so diagonals, for now, we're looking absolutely beautiful, right? Let's go back to this. There's our 6-month close. Now, in terms of historical price ranges, right? Here is our current historical price ranges. We are still within, for the current, expanding cycle, we are still within, we're still within the historical price range too. Okay, your 2024 high, again, we haven't broken above it, right? And like we said, if you do turn that to resistance, your first area is the area we've already bounced from, right, which is your 2024 12-month seller zone mid, right, or also your mid of your historical price range too. And if you lose that, then the key area to hold is going to be this one right over here. Okay, so if I turn the 12-month buyer seller zones on, now we look at it in terms of historical price ranges here. Because should you go and lose this level, I would think that you probably go and take this low out. I don't see them doing this, right? For now, I just don't see it. That'd be really weird price action. Of course, it could happen, but I don't see them doing that. If this is lost, I see them take this low out, and that is now going to be a big question mark, because that's going to be your first macro shift in structure. We haven't had one this cycle, not since 2022 lows. If you notice on the weekly, every high low has been that, it's not been taken out, right? So I was going to take out the last high low that led to the high on the macro is going to be significant, because after this point, I would be inclined to say any moves up you get would be to look for shorts. You could look this as, yeah, that's a breakout retest, or you can look at it as, we've taken out the last high low that led to the higher high, and any lower high that comes in is going to be that first sign you've gone from, again, the right side of the V back to the left side of the V, right? So that's something I wouldn't want to see. But we'll talk about that scenario should it come to pass. Should we go and lose this level? For now, let's keep it very, very simple, right? Even if you wanted to scalp, if you wanted to, if you wanted to base plays on off the Bitcoin chart, this cluster right here, like we talked about, this is what you do not want to turn into resistance. Again, when I say this, I'm not saying it's going to give you the market top, okay? I'm simply saying it could give you another local top that gives you a flush before we go higher, maybe a bit later on down the line, right? Maybe we get a Q4 pump instead. Maybe July is another choppy month. Mid-August is when we start really picking up heat. And maybe September is when we break out. Who knows? Something like that could happen, right? A delayed cycle, right? Locally speaking. But we're going to base all those scenarios off of just genuine, just T8, that's it, right? So this cluster right here, again, 108,287 to 109,573. You do not want to turn this zone into resistance. You want that zone to be support. Okay, so that is Bitcoin. But if you now consider this in terms of what we were doing before, right? If you consider this in terms of create a group of drawings, I'm just going to call it 6-month buyer seller zone. If you consider this in terms of what we were doing before, right? Which is where were buyers active, where were sellers active, so on and so forth. So if I turn this off, if I go once again back to the weekly, remember this one. In fact, I think I can just do it here, no? Or rather, I can do it over here. No, sorry, we'll just do it here. There, this. If you consider in terms of this, remember what were these? The area where sellers were completely active on the weekly. We've got at the 6-month close confirmation. If you take a look at how the 6-month closed, we closed above the area where sellers were active on the weekly before, right? It's now an area where buyers are in control. Same thing with the monthly, and of course we haven't even tested these yet, right? So again, remember this also still stands. As long as this is support, we look so good to go higher. I don't see how anyone can look at this chart and then just decide all of a sudden I'm going to be a macro bear here, right? Because of course they might be seeing something I'm not seeing, but based off what I'm seeing, this is extremely bullish. On the macro, this is extremely, extremely bullish. Remember, again, for those of you that were perhaps not here for this stream, that white line there, what I'm doing with this is I'm saying this is the area where sellers were in complete control, right? Why am I saying that? Because we do not have any candle body closes above this area the last time over here. 2024 to start of 2025. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? All just wicks, meaning anytime buyers attempted to close candles here, you were smacked straight back down. But now look what you've done here. The exact opposite, right? Anytime sellers attempt to close candles below, you just smack the price straight back to the upside. So the exact opposite of what was the case here, which is sellers were in control of the buyers, supply was greater than demand, is now an area where buyers are in control of the sellers, demand is greater than supply. That is what we are saying. And this will remain the case until we've genuinely go and turn into resistance, which hasn't happened yet, right? So all in all, macro looks absolutely fantastic. Like I said, just be aware this is an area where we could get a local raid to one more move down, right? We could see something like that, some early 6-month manipulation, right? We could see it, but don't let that deter you from the fact that what's going on, what's building here, the structure is extremely bullish. Because even if we do turn this to resistance, if we drop here and we hold, that's still a smiley face, right? All of these need to be invalidated before you have a reason to believe with confirmation that, oh damn, okay, yeah, this looks weak. So now let me take an informed short rather than just 100 different attempts of shorting here and just sharing the P&L that sticks, right? That's what most people are going to be doing. Like 1,000 different shorts, they're going to be stopped at 999. The 1,000th one that they manage to catch, that will run. They'll be like, oh damn, look, yeah, I've got a short open, completely ignoring the fact they've been stopped out 999 times, right? The fact of the matter is, if you have to look at structure and you have to look at in terms of price action so far, right? Based on what is on the screen, not what could happen, but what is actually on the screen. Majority of what we're seeing is bullish, right? It's extremely bullish. Bitcoin is literally developing over areas where sellers were in control before. And if we take a look at this on the daily, the only thing we haven't gone over is where's the highest kind of body close on the daily? It's not there. In fact, I take that back. Even on the daily, the area where we were before, where the highest kind of body is, right, on the daily, I'm gonna color that one, let's say green, right? We're above that too. So weekly, monthly, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, so on and so forth, 2 months, right? So let's say 4 months and 6 months down over here, monthly, weekly, and daily over here. On the daily, this is the area where sellers were in control of before. Look, buyers are taking control of it right now. As long as we are above this cluster, I see very little reason that why we would all of a sudden nuke 100%, right? Like, nuke, like with 100% certainty, why would nuke? Like we said, the only thing that I'd be wary of is the thing I described just now, right? Just understand, we are still within the parallel channel. You're approaching resistance, right? We are still below some key diagonals, and in terms of that range we were talking about in terms of key inflection areas and historical price ranges, plus 12-month buyer seller zones and the 6-month buyer seller zone that was just created right over here, right? That cluster is what we really need to get above, right? That cluster right over there. If you can flip this cluster into support, we are good, because we know there's diagonals going through this area. We know there's this. We know there's the parallel channel, right? So a lot of resistance at this area. But if we can go and confirm that to be support, if we can go and break above, we don't even need to retest. If we can go above and maintain above 109.573, that's going to be it. I think we're going to shoot up from there. Okay, so that'll be my thoughts on Bitcoin. Let me go back to the chat and check. Rate cuts in September. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so that is my thoughts on Bitcoin. There's no more questions. Let's look at Ethereum next. Okay. Also, I would like to quickly look at the 6-month close we just had over here. This is by no means a shabby 6-month close. Okay. In fact, let me do this. Let me go to settings, and I think 1,000 should, rather 3,000 manually. Just wait for it to load. 1 sec. Come on. 1 sec, guys. Always takes ages to load this on the higher time frame. Maybe 3,000 is too. Maybe I should have done 5,000 actually. Well, it should load soon. You know what? Yeah, let's take it to 5,000. I think that'll actually generally be quicker. See, TradingView really needs to upgrade these. Right? I don't mind using on TradingView, but okay, there we go. Let's try it now. I simply want to analyze the 6-month close we just had in terms of what type of aggressive trading went on. Right? Let's get a proper good look at it. For BTC and for ETH especially, these two. Come on. Nice one, TradingView. Come on, bro. Alright, give it 1 second. What a piece of shit. 1 second, guys. Sorry. I'm just going to do ATR because that's going to be so much quicker. Honestly, whoever coded this needs to get us sacked. There's nowhere near this is good enough for the price they're charging. Okay, 6 months. Actually piss off. 1 sec. Oh, fuck me. Okay, manual, and we'll go for 6,000 ticks per row. How you gonna actually screw it? 10,000 ticks per row. Okay, so then, well, if that's the daily, let's take a look. How does that affect it? Okay, that should be good for the 6 months. Come on now. Okay, there we go. So, let's take a look at this 6-month candle. Okay, first of all, was there more aggressive sellers or buyers? Very obvious. There were more aggressive sellers. Not by a big margin, to be honest, for saying there was 4.38 million volume conducted. And this is on Binance. Okay, this is, if you're thinking this volume is low, because this is spot volume, right? Leverage volume tends to be bigger because, of course, there's that leverage involved. 4.38 million on Binance in spot, right? BTC traded. Negative 22 point, so basically 22,740 of that BTC was on the side of the market shorters. So, at the end of the day, we have more aggressive selling than buying going on during the duration of the 6-month candle. But again, if we take a look at how the candle closed now, right? Is this candle indicating anything bearish? And the answer is no. For the way the volume was transacted, for the way that aggressive buying and selling took place, what we know is that even though there was more aggressive sellers, we ended up closing with a very, very bullish candle over here, right? Long wick to the downside, indicating firstly that anyone that was short here is trapped, right? All these shorters are trapped. Secondly, of course, I don't expect any shorters here to be trapped still. Like if you're short from 74k, chances are you've been liquidated by now, right? But the fact of the matter is that was there. Secondly, you've closed above your point of control. This is very, very crucial, right? You've closed above your 6-month point of control, right? So I'm just going to mark the top of it for now. More importantly, you've pretty much retested that 6-month point of control also at 105,201, meaning the price at which the most aggressive buying and selling took place, which is going to be somewhere around this region, right? I wish we had a way to figure out the exact pricing. Sadly, we don't. Not on this anyway, right? That point of control is support. For now, that's a bullish backtest of that point of control. As long as you're above that point of control, what are you going to be targeting? You are now going to be targeting this high right over here. Why? Because that is your next significant area in terms of the transacted volume. That is where the value area high is. 110k. Okay. So if you were to just put those two things down, and if you ever lose that, then you have your key level. You can see two clusters here, two 6-month clusters between this and this. That'd be your next target. 87,370 to 87,367 or something like this, right? Just line it up. One sec. Here's one. And here's the other. Let's just make sure we've really got it locked in. Fuck it, that's good enough. Is it good enough? No, it's not. That is good enough. And of course we have this. So basically, if we do get some sort of like some sort of like black swan dump, right? Some sort of capitulation wick basically before we do go higher. The lowest for now that I'd want it to go is to these targets. Retest these and send it higher. Now these targets might be slightly different on the leverage chart, but I don't care. I'm gonna go off the spot, right? Because spot's gonna be the driving factor really behind are we really bullish or not. You don't want a perp driven move, you want a spot driven move, right? So we have this based on the previous two 6-month closes, right? We have now this very important cluster to consider, basically 87,300 to 87,600, right? But one is the value area high of the second half of 2024. One is the value area low of the first half of 2025, and that is beautiful in and of itself. It's saying the area which was representing the top of the first standard deviation of a trading volume in the second half of 2024 is literally representing the bottom of the standard deviation of a trading volume in 2025. We're seeing entirely new ranges explored, right? So I don't care if we don't break out straight away. As long as we are maintaining this, we can still make money trading a range, right? That's the important thing. But that 6-month close was fantastic, and that retest of the value area, the point of control, sorry, right? Now, if I could take this low enough to actually get the exact point of control, that'd be amazing. I can't, right? So I'm just gonna put it down at 150 for now. Somewhere between 150 and not for 150, sorry, 105 and 104 700, right? It's like a $300 range, somewhere in between here. I'm just gonna put it at the top for now. But as long as we're holding that, we don't have to think about these, right? If we go and lose these levels, then this has confluence, right? This 87k has confluence with this area we're looking at. Down, over, here for the smiley face, right? It will just be a slightly deeper drive, like a wick that takes these wicks out, right? Makes people think the smiley face ain't gonna happen perhaps, and then you go and reclaim. That would still be a valid smiley face, right? That'd be a valid smiley face, and then you'd go. So we have loads of reasons for why this needs to hold, basically, right? And loads of reasons for why. If we lose this low, that's the area where I look for a lower high to come in to take the short, somewhere in this region, right? And if we get that, if we get this to this, I'll be the first person to say, okay, I do think the market top is in, right? I won't be the first person who's been saying it, because people who are screaming it here would have been right. But in my opinion, the people who are screaming it here are doing it very prematurely, right? Because nothing in price action indicates that, yeah, we're gonna have a crash that's gonna completely cut off the bull market, right, by the neck, and we're gonna die. Nothing here, right? So even in terms of the trading volumes and the footprint charts, we have some key levels to look for. So now, if I was to take this back to the daily, right, we can see we've tapped that point of control, exact, to be honest, right? We broke above, tapped the point of control, reclaimed it. As long as that is support, we are going to be looking for moves up towards 110, okay, towards 110 on the spot chart. Now, to get to there, we do have to get above our key area that we were talking about. Again, that key area is a 109.573, but that 110 could serve as a rate of that. If we cannot get over that 110 and we close back below by the end of this, we're still going to be treating this area as resistance, right? So we put it together bit by bit using different forms of TA, but that zone there now, very, very crucial for us to flip into support. Until we do that, Bitcoin's just going to grind it. It's going to be a hard time breaking above, right? Because this is a very, very crucial area in terms of significant levels where sellers have every opportunity possible to jump in to pile on if they choose to, right? So we need to make sure those sellers do not get an opportunity to do so. And even if they do, we need to make sure that the buyers are in enough strength in numbers to overcome that supply that they throw onto the market before we can really talk about 130s, so on and so forth. So that was a really in-depth look into Bitcoin based off the 6-month close, right? Based off that 6-month close for the footprint charts. Of course, TPOs look extremely bullish, right? This was a potential short idea I was looking at earlier, but this didn't work right here, right? You were using the value area high as resistance, but you flipped the point of control into support, so that I didn't go through with the short. Basically, I was hoping for something like this if I was going to short. That didn't happen, so you wouldn't take the short, right? That's it. Above the point of controls now, so this looks good. You're literally at single print areas. This is excess, okay? Now I'm not going to go deep into this because there's only one of you who's actually taken this lesson, okay? So I'm not going to go deep into this. Just understand we have a lot of euphoric buying going on right now. If they can keep it up without supply, like, you know, really coming in, this can keep going up, right? However, if we end the excess with us going back below excess, right, i.e. we end the day, let's say, or this is on the 3 minutes right now, but we end the day below these excess highs, then again you have another reason why you would look for hedge shorts, okay? Or if you're already looking for some, you would add to some, because euphoric buying wasn't rewarded is what you'd be saying, okay? But yeah, okay, so that is enough on Bitcoin. I don't want to bore you guys. I can adjust this, right? But does anyone have any questions before I move on? So welcome guys, welcome. No questions? Okay, so let me look at ETH next then. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, I need to sort something out. Just gonna invite someone to the server. 1 second. Bro, I'm like a grandpa with Discord still. Okay, never mind. Right, Ethereum next. Let's go to ETH. Right, okay. So Ethereum still sat at key inflection areas, right? Very much still sat at the key inflection areas. This is very nice in the sense that, you know, Ethereum still hasn't had a huge amount of selling pressure come in, right? And even if they have, it's already come to pass because we know you rejected off the 2022 impulsive mid, right? The 2022 impulsive mid is what you rejected off of. As long as you're holding these mids, I would expect Ethereum to go back to the upside. If you turn these mids into resistance, I would expect Ethereum to come down and perhaps 1,900, something like this, before we go higher. That's only if you lose 2,200, because we know there is another view we can take on Ethereum, which is this one right over here. That 6-month close is absolutely beautiful. The only thing I don't like about it is, of course, the long wick, right? Although it indicates that huge buying pressure came in, it's also the area where the new buy zone is. So again, if you do get what I do hope is that we get fills of the 6-month buy zone mids before we go higher. So 1935 is in the cards for me for Ethereum. If we get there, I'll add more spot. Okay, very, very simple. If we get there, I will add more spot. But there's so much more we can look at it in terms of, right? We can look at it in terms of course, diagonals. We can look at it in terms of buyer seller zones. We can look at it in terms of fibs. We're going to look at it in terms of all of those. But the first thing to note is where we currently are, I wouldn't do anything for ETH, not on the higher time frame, right? I gave the warning. I literally said in crypto chat, I'm buying spot ETH, right? When we got that retest, we talked about the scenario for months. It happened after a month or so, right? So when we got that retest, I gave the warning in crypto chat saying I'm entering spot Ethereum. But now that we're above it, again, I'm not going to be doing anything over here. I'm just going to be sitting on my hands for a bit, waiting again to see, do we get one more drop towards 1,935? Because if we do, that's going to be a beautiful bid opportunity in my opinion. Right. So let's take a look at it properly then. In terms of historical price ranges, I've got two different ways I've done this, right? You guys already know that. One is the proper way I teach you guys. The other one is something I've just done discretionarily for myself, right? In terms of actual areas of where buyers been active, where sellers been active, so on and so forth. But that 6-month buyer seller zone mid, right? 1935 is going to be extremely important. You should just, go ahead and mark those out, guys, for those of you that are wanting to trade Ethereum. If you, it sets your alerts up, because if you get to that and you see buy stepping in my opinion, you would take that bid, right? You would simply take that bid. It would still be a part of some sort of smiley face here, right? Very simple. Again, that 6-month buyer seller zone is pretty much also going to line up with your historical price range too, right? So if you cannot get above this, then that'd be a logical pullback back to a higher low, another sort of smiley face there to then go higher, right? What was once resistance, just come down, just treat it again as support once again, and then break up, right? Something like that could happen. But Ethereum, I bought spot, and if we get those levels, that's where I'll be building a swing long. I'll be doing one for the challenge account. I've not entered swing ETH at these prices. I'm not going to do it. I'm only going to enter swing longs if I think we're at deep discount. Okay, at these prices, swing long doesn't make sense. If I'd opened the challenge account down over here back in April, I would have swing long there, but we didn't, right? So I've got a swing long in my main account, but obviously we don't have one for the challenge account because the challenge account wasn't running at these lows. So if we get here, I will look for some swing longs on ETH on the challenge account as well, right? But that's only if we get here firstly, and secondly only if buyers actually step in. Otherwise, at these prices, I'm content holding spot ETH, because even if we drop to these prices, I don't care, because I think it's going to go back higher, right? So in terms of key inflection areas, Ethereum looks great right now. Again, you wouldn't do anything because you are at an uncertain area. You add the cluster, and it's uncertain whether buyers or sellers are in control. And you do not trade off uncertainty. We trade here, trying to maximize our probabilistic chance that we're actually going to get the right move that we're looking for in the market. Entering uncertain trade is not the way to do that, right? But no matter how you look at it, whether you look at it based off this proper way to do key inflection areas and historical price ranges, which you guys also all know, or this other one that I use for reference, right, that I created for myself here, in my opinion, are areas where you wouldn't pull the trigger here, right? The only thing I'll be okay with you guys doing is scalp the swing trades. If you get for example, a 3-minute retest of this low, which is acting as your 6-month, it's acting as your 6-month, is it buy zone or seller zone? It's your buy zone, yeah, 6-month buy zone high, right? If you get that retest of the 6-month buy zone high after breaking above, and you see buys coming in, you see aggressive selling not being rewarded, then you have the opportunity to take that scalp to swing trade to the upside, right? You'd be scalped to swing in that straight up towards 2,552, right? That would be nearly a 2.63% range you're trying to scalp the swing, right? For scalps, that's an amazing move, right? Because obviously our risk management, if you're taking those 1 to 5 minute entry models, are going to be extremely tight. So there's still lots of money you can make on these lower time frame moves, right? If you scalp the way I do anyway. But unless you get that, there is nothing to be done over here, right? And I seriously mean that. It's like, if you wanted to buy a spot, the question is, why would you not buy down over here? Like, you can buy spots here if you want, but just understand now that, for example, this zone here, if you treat it to resistance, you're going to have a move back down anyway. So what's the point in buying spot at resistance, right? Just because you're buying spot doesn't mean you get lazy all of a sudden. You still want to buy at areas where you would normally enter a trade, not at resistance, right? One thing I've seen people do is they get a bit lazy with their entries and the risk management just because it's spot. But, why would you do that, right? It's like, if you wanted to buy, you would buy here. We talked about this scenario. This was a pre-planned scenario. We were saying we're not going to do anything here because we're not at an actual significant level. We're just chopping in between a parallel channel. This is just a leverage range, right? Once we hit that, that was the time is the bid. I gave the warning. So again, if you're not going to pull the trigger here, why on earth would you pull the trigger over here? Now that you're back underneath the old range. As resistance, we haven't actually confirmed we're back above, we're below the parallel channel. This would be an absolutely shit entry. Right, if you entered here and you told me I'm in the red, I would say you had a shit entry. What are you doing, right? If you entered here and you got stopped out, I can't say you had a shit entry, right? Because, you're at a significant level. At this point, buyers are coming in. So you can only pull the trigger based off what you see. If you then get stopped out after this, it's not because you took a shit trade. It just wasn't meant to be at that particular moment in time. It's what it is. In hindsight, there's always like, oh, we had this level here, so on and so forth. But the true trading comes when you have pre-planned levels with pre-planned ideas, right? We had this idea pre-planned. We were saying, I'm not going to do anything on ETH in this range until we get the retest. We've got the retest, therefore I enter. If I'd been stopped out here, I would not have given two shits. Why? Because this is an area where I want to take the risk at actually bidding some, right? Because for me, I know it's the least risk buying over here. Even though fear is going to be strong, it's the least risk buying over here. You have very great risk buying or longing over here because you haven't even confirmed whether you've reclaimed this range or not, right? You're still a resistance. So honestly, nothing to be done on ETH currently, in my opinion. Right? The only thing you can do is those scalp mindset trades we were just talking about. Otherwise, you would wait until you've reclaimed this range if you want to open any longs or anything like this. If you reclaim this, then you're basically targeting this next, in my opinion, right? You'd be looking for $3,000 ETH. But until you reclaim, you don't do anything on Ethereum here. No leverage to be had in terms of swings, and no leverage, no spot bids, right? Just if you're gonna buy spot here, you might as well wait into this, right? Pretty much the same price, but the context is so much better when you get that sort of price action coming in. So on ETH, honestly, nothing to be had where we currently are. The way I see it, there's nothing to be had here. Okay. Again, if you take a look at ETH now on the I'll look at the Bybit chart for this. Too low of a time frame. Yep, let's look at the 6-month close. What was the 6-month close like on Ethereum? Do you know what? I'm gonna add ETH spot to. Oh, I've got it. Where is it? Oh, okay, it's there. One sec. Why is it all the way down over there? Let's add this over here. Let's take a look at it in the spot chart first, because look at that. The old chart, right, boys? People are gonna lose their minds there. 6-month Binance spot. Look how much volume came in for Ethereum in the last 6-month close. 110.54 million, right? That's a beautiful amount of volume. Last time we had volume this high, well, that was all the way back in 2022. The actual bear market low. We're having pretty much the same amount of volume as the capitulation during the bear markets, and then the moment where people bought up. Very good sign. Let's see how the 6-month closed. You had 110.54 million volume with negative 3 million being on the short side. So there was negative 2,970,000 more ETH was shorted than long, right? And yet, you still closed above your value area low, and I would like to say above your point of control. I have a feeling you closed above your point of control. I'm gonna have to change the thing is to look at that. So if I go to settings here, let's try reducing this by half. 15,000 ticks. Please don't freeze. Okay, better. 10,000 ticks. It's like I'm haggling with TradingView to give me more resolute data. I think you go, okay, I think you close underneath point of control, to be honest. 5,000 ticks. Okay, that is a close underneath point of control. We don't need to go lower than that to really realize it. So just another reason why I would not be touching ETH at this particular level. Let's get it as, let's see if we can really push our luck here. 3,000, can you do it? Yep, right. What do you see? What is currently resistance? The exact opposite of Bitcoin, right over here, okay? This point of control for now is resistance. So until you get above this, there's absolutely no business being an Ethereum long, okay? Just my 2 cents on it. That is the most traded price for the last candle, right? And if we cannot get above again, it's just going to serve as resistance. A significant area is going to serve as resistance. 1,000 should be good for ETH here. Come on. It's not too much to ask for, is it? Yeah, there we go. Much more resolute, right? You can see we've wicked to that area, and we are indeed using it as resistance for now. So very simple. Just set an alert up for like maybe even the top of this if you're really, really paranoid, right? 2,500 ETH. If you see that flip to support, take a scalp to swing longs, you know, enter your spots if you want with invalidations around that key level, right? If you cannot get above this, then I would not be surprised if we did at some point visit the value area low for a retest before it went higher. Now this would be an extreme drop in my opinion. I do not see this being hit quite yet, but I'm going to mark it down nonetheless just in case, right? So there we go. But if you do get above 2,500, again, where's the next key area? Low volume nodes, you literally have single prints here, and the value area high, it's going to be 2,853, and I do think if you go to this area, you are propelling past this area, right? Because we're saying this is a low volume node. They act as like boosters basically. Since there was no volume here, price is going to go to where volume was. So above this level, no volume, the next area of volume is going to be around 3,200. So if you get above 2,853, which is a value area high for the last 6 month close, I think you get 3,200 ETH, somewhere around there, right? Perhaps this level again. Let's go mark it down there. So in terms of areas where buyers and sellers we know for a fact jumped in, here it is. Below your macro point of control for the last 6 month close, you have no business longing ETH where we currently are, okay? Because I always say, if you're using leverage, like, you know, fuck the lazy, I'm going to go for like a 30% stop loss on leverage rule. Like, I'm not one of those. I only do that with spot, right? If it's leverage, keep it tight. There's no point being lazy with it just for the sake of, like, you know, making a win rate look good, right? I don't care if it gets stopped out a bit more. Just keep your leverage tight, dude. I'd rather you be safe than sorry with leverage. So that's for now. I'll just say 2,500 ETH, right? We need to go and flip that back into support. Your 6 month close point of control, right? That has to be support, which lines up with, of course, basically this area we currently are, right? We need to go and resolutely flip this key inflection area mid into support. That happens again, look, right? Even in terms of key areas, look, it's lining up. Where our value area high is basically your 2022 historical price range impulse mid for the downtrend, and then where the previous the next key level is around 3,200, right? The area where the next high volume nodes are, historical price range 3 mid, right? So, you know, you have significant levels lining up with your actual volume based data, which is very beautiful to know. So just as a quick let's say what am I thinking of, just as a quick roundup of everything we've gone over. If you get above this, then, you know, whether you're looking for spot or leverage long, so on and so forth, you're good to be in. But as long as you're below this, I just wouldn't do anything, right? For most people, it's like, well, what's the difference? There's a dime and a dozen difference, right? The price action is going to be telling you completely different things when this is support versus what it's telling you right now, right? And if you can't see that, then price action analysis is not one of your strong points. It's what it is, right? So we need to get above this, and this needs to be support. Line in the sand. So that is Ethereum. Let me go and read. Saw my dinger and put it all on ETH. 4-door dinger. Two-door dinger. Okay. That like a smart car. We're riding out in a smart car. Fiat 500. Yeah. Okay, that's Ethereum. Any questions before I move on? 2452, nice, bro. 2452 would have been, where is it? 2452 is somewhere around over here. I mean, currently that is above your point of control. So as long you can be in scalp longs above 2452, right? If you get a pullback, you know, it's fine above the point of control. But obviously this is a fresh 6-month candle. We have 5 months and 30 days. Like, this candle is just a baby sprout right now. There's a lot of information this candle's not missing, that because that's going to be building over the next 6 months. So we are going to have are we going to have a 4-month close? No, we're not yet. Okay, but okay, so that is Ethereum. Yeah, I should quit. Nah, if that's enough to make you quit, then what can I say, right? Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, that's BTC and ETH. I do want to do Sol as well, right? Let's do Sol next, and then the other alts I'll do tomorrow. I'll do another stream tomorrow for alts, okay? Because I do want to go in depth with these. Let's be honest, the 3 darlings of this cycle, I wouldn't even call ETH a darling, OAP of this cycle, but the 3 main coins of this cycle will be Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, to look for in terms of high caps, until alts go up to join them. So let's look at Solana next. So, Sol, we'll just look at it in terms of, nope, okay, hang on. Why are all of these at the bottom? I swear to God, bro. Binance, there we go. Oh dear. Close your eyes if this is too much for you guys. One sec. Old dash chart here. Let me get rid of everything. It's funny looking at some of the old. Solana has that's a Darth Maul candle if I've seen one. That is ugly. Right, I can't make much of this. Well, very easy to see, to be honest. As long as you're above the point of control, you're fine on Solana. But in terms of buyer absorption, seller absorption, overall sellers were in control. Right, we had 762.88 million being Solana's traded aggressively in the last 6 months, and 12,290,000 of those were sells, market sells over market longs. Right, since this is not the perp chart, this is the spot chart. They were market sells. So we had more aggressive selling than buying. Does the candle reflect that? I'd say it does. Right, it does reflect that. So nothing you can't, like we could for BTC and ETH, which is really nice absorption patterns, this doesn't, so let's not even go into that. What we're going to do then is, let's see if I can do this 500. I'm not pushing no, I'm not. It's okay. So the thing to look at for Solana is, see, the row sizes make absolutely no sense. Come on. Okay, there we go. That's more than enough. This zone is what you need to hold for now. Okay, more important in the lower half of this zone. But this is where your current point of controls are. For your current 6 month, which of course just open, and more importantly, do you know what? This zone right here. You need to be holding it. Okay? 6 month point of control, 6 month point of control. We can see it's literally step laddering up for now. Right? But that is what we need to hold. Since this particular candle hasn't actually formed yet, we can go off candles that have closed and say this is what you need to be holding, in which case this makes sense, right? Why have we retested and why buy stepping in? Because these two, between these two zones is representing the area, let's say, since it's going to be very hard to get a singular price. These two zones are representing the areas where what's representing for the last year, basically, right? Last year from now, right? So the last 2 6-month closes, where the most traded volume has taken place in terms of actual executed trades. As long as you're above that, you are fine. As long as you're above that, where are you looking to go to? You're looking to go to this region right over here. Very straightforward. Right there. And from there to like here, basically. There you go. You're looking to get to that region. Very simple. That's the range you're looking to play right now. If you get above that, then it's going to be all-time highs in my opinion, because there's not much stopping you from just raking it up from that point on. Right? But not much has happened, to be honest, in terms of, you know, aggressive buying or selling absorption, right? You know, neither side of the market was rewarded. Aggressive selling wasn't rewarded, but nor was aggressive buying, right? So that's an indecisive candle if I've ever seen one. However, for now, right, as long as, again, like we're above that zones, like we just mentioned, As long as we're above this, and locally speaking, what kind of structure do we see? We should all be familiar with this. That is a smiley face, right? Solana could very easily go back up towards. In this case, I would honestly say back up towards $200, 190 to 200. You could very easily do that, right? That is a cumulative structure locally. That is a cumulative structure. So if you're looking to long, rather than ETH right now, I'd be looking at Sol, right? Just based on where we are now, Solana might go back below this level, but ETH gets above that point of control we were talking about. In which case, you would rotate again and go into Ethereum, right? But for now, based on where we currently are, Solana does look very, very good, as we can see here, right? So resistance, support, and we know this is not just any random support resistance, but this is where aggressive, in terms of actual executed bids, we've got that going for us. So even as a swing, to be honest, if you wanted to, does it make sense? Just about. Obviously, I'm not one. If I'm using leverage, like I said, that's a bit too wide for me. But you can look for around these key levels now. You can look for that lower time frame to higher time frame. Scalp the swing mindset trades if you're not comfortable just swinging. You can buy spot Solana, right, and just sell if you think like I'm just going to take it as a trade to the high, right? If you think that's a trade, you can just go and buy spot Solana instead. Open a trading account with spot if you're not comfortable with leverage yet, and then spot Solana long to over here instead, right? 30% gains, not to be scoffed at, right? You put $1,000 in spot, you're making 300, right? That's good, like 30% returns. What bank is giving you that? Like no one, right? So there's a very easy trade very easy swing here rather to take right now on Solana. Okay, very, very easy swing to take here on Solana. But yeah, no, Sol does look good here. Locally speaking, it looks very, very good. Now, if you look at the actual chart for Sol, where is it? Sol Crypto. Okay, I would not long yet. Okay, here's the thing. Forget what I just said. I should have looked at the proper chart first. The reason I would not long yet is because as nice as this looks, we do have that supply line above us, right? To be honest, this is the crypto chart. Do we still have the supply line in the Binance chart? Let's see. Get off my screen, bro. This is coming back to haunt me after all this time. It's been ages since I've done charts like that. Oh dear, on Binance it's even worse, huh? What the why is there such a large discrepancy? Hang on. Wait, no, I know why. It's because that's the macro. The ones we're interested in is this one right over here. Okay, there we go, yeah. So I would wait. I would take that long still, right? We know we've got confluence with order flow already. I would simply just wait until you get above this. Okay, very subtle, but it's there. I would just wait until we flip that back into support. Especially if you look at the 6 month that is closed, we have 6 month buyer zone right over there. So yeah, you can see very, very clear reason as to why I'd say I'd wait. Wait until this happens, okay? But you do that, okay? You've got to just set your alerts up, okay? Just set your alerts up, because that's what I'll be doing, right? Set your alerts up. If you get that flip, just long it. If you want, if you're looking to long on something, you're gonna have a trade worthy to take on Solana, as long as now buy step in and hold this area as support, right? And then you'll be looking to run it towards, you've got yearly buy seller zones, you've got key inflection areas, and of course you've got those targets we were talking about based on actual executed orders as well, right? Between 190 to 200 basically. Between 190 to 200. If I go to the crypto chart, same thing, right? Between 190 to 200, we're looking at basically, actually we don't have any good yearlies for that key area. I'll take this as simple range play, right? When you have too many levels back to back like this, it can get hard if you're trying to hold a swing long. So only turn all these yearlies on like this if you're trying to scalp it, okay? Or if you're trying to, see what kind of, leave them on, but for your actual trade, it should be very simple what you're looking to aim towards, right? It's that range high right there. That's the main thing here now. We also have, of course, key inflection areas. Only the reason why I'm saying don't long yet is that key inflection area. Don't even need this on my screen anymore, to be honest. Yeah, no, this can go and this can go. We are currently using key inflection area R2 to R3 as resistance on Solana. right? Now, again, you just pair that with the fact that we have this, right? You pair that with the fact we have this, and we have this. You can see once again the reason why I'm saying do not long where we currently are. Once you get above this, right, this being your long, you're going to basically target that key inflection area mid, and if not for that, you're going to target the high. Very simple targets, right? But where we currently are, we are technically, buyers are not showing you the strength you would need, the size you would need to actually get in yet. Your significant level is still resistance for now, not support. In fact, if you're looking for scalp shorts, there you go, right? Daily buy seller zone. If the daily closes below this, you have a very easy scalp to swing mindset short to take, right? But yeah, I definitely wouldn't long until this area flips to support. Okay, so forget what I said over there. I did that without actually a bit prematurely without looking at the proper charts. But should these areas, right, again, so say should those areas go and be reclaimed into support, that's a different story. Then you have reasons to long at this particular area. Right, which was the chart I was looking at before this? Was it still this one? Binance? No, oh no, it was here and it was Binance. Yeah. So we can see again 6 month buy zone confluence. We have historical price range confluence as well, right here. Historical price range, key levels confluence, key inflection area confluence, and diagonal confluence. So once we get above, that is when you would look to long sol. Okay, so you're waiting for this, whether it's to buy spot or it's to look for that scalp the swing mindset long. You're doing so after this actually holds as support, not when it's currently being used as resistance. So that is Solana, because aggressive buying for now is on our side. Any questions on that before I move on? Yeah, you can look at the 3 months as well, Rocky bro. But typically when you have a like for example, when we had the last quarter close, right, and not the quarter that just closed, but the one before that, what you had was just the 3 months, obviously, so you would have looked at it. But now that you have a 6 month close, you're going to prioritize that over the 3 months. Okay, you can still put like 3 month levels and 6 month levels on if you want, because they don't necessarily mean they're going to be the same thing, right? Because you have two different 3 month closes, but one 6 month close, obviously. But if you had to choose one, obviously I'd go for the 6 month levels. Oh wait, Rocky, did you get the Solana phone too? I got it like years ago, and I got the notification the other day. I had to pay more money, believe it or not, for the shipping. But yeah, I paid it, and hopefully I think it should be here by August. Hopefully they have more stuff, because I've already made my money back just off the meme coins they dropped for the actual Solana phone. Like they kind of went crazy with it, to be honest. But hopefully they've got like a lot more in store than just what's already happened. Are they still like letting you buy the Solana phone? Or is this now like the V3 or V4? Yeah, tokenized stocks on Sol. That was actually that was huge. That was crazy. I saw that. I was reading the chat. Now I can trade orange juice futures on Jupiter, right? Is that the vibes? Cocoa futures being shorted in Jupiter with Farcoin as collateral. I love it. Zodiac signs. Bought one a few days ago. Okay, bro. Hopefully it still comes preloaded with like all the memes from the previous phones. That'd be sick. Yeah, I got the V2. I didn't get in on V1 sadly, but V2 still got some drops, and that paid back the phone in itself. Yeah. Yeah, I look forward to it, man. Look forward to it. Okay, so that's Solana, right? No questions there. Okay, so what we'll do then is, that's the big three. Today I'll go over Dot for Ryu, because he's been asking about him for a while. Just haven't had time to get back to him. I'll go to chart requests and look at the two different chart requests that you guys put in, and then we'll call it there. And tomorrow, when I do another stream, we can look at thingy instead, like alts properly, right? You know, all the other altcoins. So first and foremost, dots. Let's see how this shit coin is holding up. Last we looked at it, it wasn't bad, but $3, that is actually terrible, right? If anyone took this play, it would have been stopped out, right? 14% loss is what it is. Yeah, it sucks when you buy that low and you still get stopped out. It's kind of crazy work, right? Take a look. Right, what do I see going for us here? Bond this all, bro. Absolute dog shit chart. This is terrible. You're using your support as resistance. Like, what are you doing, kid? Do I want to do a fresh chart on this? Yes, I do. Okay, let me go to dot here instead. One sec. Right, let's clear all of this shit up. Yeah, get off. Okay. I mean, at this point, why would they not just give us a full reset? I just raid $1, honestly. Either that or you get the reclaim. No, this looks terrible. I can't lie, bro. This looks absolutely horrendous right now. It was looking good here because we were holding the range lows, right? So hopefully what you get is some sort of PO3 action, right? Exactly, hopefully what we're going to get on ETH. So here's your range. Just going to mark it out as such. There's your range, right? Ignore the one on the left. I'm just showing it to show that it is a historic range indeed. There you go. So hopefully what we get now is just some sort of like raid on liquidity. The only raid that seems feasible here is a raid of all-time lows. I'm just going to set... Let me set an alert up because this is actually terrible. Let me do this. Just slightly higher. There. And now I'll know if we ever go to rate that low. So you've got it very simple here on DOT, right? If you look at this, you can see it very, very clearly. You do not want to be in this shitcoin until it minimum goes and reclaims that low. If it reclaims that low, you have this entire range to play with. But as long as you're below, there's no point being in it, because then you have this entire range to play with. And even though you're already this low, you're still going to experience a 64% drop in your net worth if you're in DOT and it decides to rate that low. So as long as you're below this box, just cut, and then just rebuy if it goes a bit higher. Who cares if you made a slight loss? I'd rather you guys be safe than sorry with how shit some of these things are looking. Like, what levels do you even have here now? Like, you don't. You have a buy zone down over here. You don't have any. You don't have any macro reads, do you? No, you're below your macro read, you're below these buy zones. Yeah, it looks terrible. Like, you're literally below this buy zone, which you do not want to be below. Like we can see very historically, you do not want to be below that buy zone until this is reclaimed as support. Yeah, this dog shit, bro. Right? I wouldn't waste time with this for now. Keep an eye on it, because of course there's opportunity if you now do this. Keep an eye on it, because if you also go and turn that to resistance, we know we've got a really nice scalp short opportunity. I'm not going to tell you to swing short DOT after it's already down at these levels, but honestly, it's like, I think there's other projects that have better potential right now. And if you're going to buy this, it's going to be based on that reclaim. Otherwise there's zero chance, or rather there's zero reasons why you should even bother having this in your port right now. There's no reason to. You're below all significant areas apart from literal all-time lows. You're below all significant levels. That looks horrendous. It looks actually looks terrible. This looks shit. So you had weekly bullish divergence, which has been invalidated, right? Lovely stuff. Do we have like ABCDs that could target us hard lower? No, it's not even giving us wave structures. What a piece of shit. One sec. Any 382s in the house? 5, not interested in 5s. Yep. 346. Like what's that? Like what the fuck is that? Why? Yeah, nah. This looks shoddy. 0.5 again. 2.62. Okay, there's your 382. 2.24 has hit, as we can see. That's the reason we're bouncing. 2.24 is right over here. So we're just gonna go and put some of these down, okay? But I don't care if a 2.24 has hit. It just means is you've got hit a level to get a reaction off of. You're rejecting off the actual levels that matter, right? So coordinates. This is shoddy as hell. And this is why price action analysis is so important, right? You get to identify exactly when something goes from a very good opportunity to get the hell out, right? So this is AP equals CD 2.24 right over here. There we go. Next would be 2.618. Have you guys watched Squid Game season 3 yet? By the way. If so, what did you think of the ending? Without spoiling it for others, of course. Cause I hated that dog shit ending, bro. What the fuck was that all about? And last but not least, we have the 3.618. Come on, don't make me. There we go. So these are the levels to watch for now. Should we not reclaim that key area? And then we can reassess. Should dot actually drop down there, right? So it's a should thing. Just because they're there doesn't mean it needs to hit. It's only validated once a level gets hit. Then, depending on the price action reaction there, you would take a play. So based on this daily, if you wanted to, you could have said, okay, I'm gonna long simply because I've got a reaction off the 2.24, and then you can use order flow and stuff to help out if you need. And I'm looking for a minimum 3RR trade. A 3RR trade would take you somewhere over this region. This trade is nearly over, right? So, if you hit that key area and you see sellers stepping in, for example, you wouldn't wait for that, whatever point that is, you would just close it, right? But now that that's happened, you had a short entry there instead. Again, you guys know what this is. Breakdown, failure to reclaim, stop loss above, and to the short. So now, I won't do anything here for dot. Like I said on the macro, just go. If you're looking for a swing on this, just go for the reclaim and get in. Otherwise, if you're gonna scalp, I would question why the hell are you scalping dot of anything else, right? Yeah, there's better coins to scalp. There's better coins to swing. So you'd only look at this if you're genuinely interested in building a swing once that low got reclaimed. Otherwise, there's no point even giving dot your time of day right now. Yeah, sure, brother. See you later, man. So you were in it. Damn, bro. Damn. Below deck is the one you want. Don't dox me like that. Come on. Right. Yeah, dog shit ending though, and now they're just gonna have an American Squid Game apparently. It's like whatever, man. They should have ended it at the first one. Right. So 382, 3.618. Yeah, that's it. Dot doesn't look good, right? That doesn't look good. Okay, so that's that, and then now let me go to the chart requests because there were two chart requests. Oh no, let's look at ATH first, and then we'll look at the two chart requests, and then I'll be done for the day. ATH, hang on, USD. Yeah, there we go. I knew I had it here somewhere. Oh dear. I mean, to be honest though, right? No word of a lie. What the hell is this price action? I've never seen anything like this before. There's some coordinated buy and sells. This is the right one, right? ATH spot, yeah, 0.02. This is it. Is there an older chart? There probably isn't. Do you know if there's an older chart? ATH USD is not got a crypto chart. Not important enough yet. Then Bybit should be the one. Okay, we'll just go with this then. We'll look at MEXC too, because MEXC typically has older charts. Yeah, not in this case though. Okay. ATH USD. Let's just go with Bybit chart. Let's look at what are you talking about? Yeah, there we go. Okay. What do we have? Do we have a yearly close? We do. Only gonna put a couple levels down over here. No good below 0.03 to begin with. So what about the 6 months? Oh yeah, absolutely terrible. Okay. Then we have. I can't be asked to mark him down. You guys are used to this by now. So there's there was a buy zone, and then here it is. So if you're looking to bid Aether, so this is what I'm hoping most coins do, right? 6 month buy zone mids retested. That is a good retest, to be honest. Okay. Daily bullish divergence is attempting to come in. Okay, let's take a look. One sec. That's going to be atrocious. Yeah, there's no way I was going to say. Right. There we go. Trying to find some wave structures, see if there is any valid ones. Here's a swing low, but see, these moments like this, people take random lows like this. I don't agree with taking random lows, right? There has to be a reason why you're taking that low. What's the point in taking a shit low like this, right? Realistically, that's not a fib pull you would take. Okay, 618. There we go. So something like this, perhaps. Now this is a it's not the best harmonic because obviously, like, you know, I've chosen a sort of, it's still a swing low I've taken from, right, which is what's important, but it's not like the impulse low or anything like this. So I'll take this with a grain of sand. But for now, honestly, like, if you wanted to get into Aether spot, like, it's pretty low risk. Like, I'd have a like allocation. Like I'd just use 20-40-40. That's it. And instead of 20%, you could probably go in with like about 40%. Your risk is only 6% away. If you close below this, you can cut. So instead of 20-40-40, you could do 40-30-30, right? That 40% you deploy over here, and that 30%. One is for DCA. So if you go back here, double bottoms, so on and so forth, you DCA with that 30%, right? Or if you just go and trend shift, then you just size up using that over time, right? Very simple. First, I'll just do this spot. Like, there's no point trying to leverage Ether. Like, what's the point in leveraging such a shit coin? Maybe you get one more drive down to take this low out based on this wave structure. I'm going to turn this off for now because it's not the best. But yeah, since we have had a successful retest for now of the 6 month buy zone mid, that's the reason for why I would say if you wanted to try and take a bet, you could, right? Based on the fact also, not only do you have that successful retest, you're doing it off the back of potential daily bullish divergence. So that's on 8th there. But overall, this chart is it's nothing special, right? Yeah, it's nothing special at all. So your risk is tight. That's the reason, I like the area we currently are. But if you look at it like, your macro range you were in, you're literally below that. Like, you're below your macro range. Now, I'm not going to do it on stream, but that's a very easy range for you to get your fixed range volume profile key levels for this area. Okay. Same for this as well, because that's another range right here. You can get fixed range volume profile levels. You can get impulse levels. You can get a lot with this. But yeah, all in all, easy area to start layering into spots here if you wanted to. You could be looking at some sort of smiley face. Who knows? It's a pretty nasty smiley face, but it could be one, right? But yeah, you could look at this in log. And if you look at it in log, then what have you hit? You've already hit the front run of the golden pocket. You could maybe have a stab down towards the golden pocket for higher time frame divergence, perhaps. Or is there absolutely no? There's no chance you're getting higher time frame divergence. Just no way. No. Yeah. I have a sneaky suspicion this could come lower, which is why I'm saying use 20-40-40. If you wanted some, get into spot and use 20-40-40. That's the simplest way you're going to manage your risk on this one, because nothing in structure is telling me yet that the bottom is in, right? But you're getting early signs of what could be like a nice little relief rally to the upside. Hence why, yeah. That's why I think for 8th there. Hello harmonics. Oh, I don't remember, bro. Is there one with loads of harmonics? Don't remember. Nice right, bro. That's a good entry. Okay, so let me go to chart request. There was 2 that was requested. I was watching it when I was because I drove, right. Well, I got chauffeured from my place to Manchester, which is about a 2.5 hour drive. So there and back, obviously, plus London. There's only 6 episodes. Just watch it in the back of the whip. Okay, so let me look at chart requests. We had 2. Okay, I've already done BTC dominance and USDT dominance and the dollar. We did that in the previous stream, so that's fine. LPT and useless. I've seen that useless shit pump, right? So let's take a look. Why are these random shit coins pumping? Who knows? Mexi, KuCoin. Jesus Christ, how is he on so many? CoinX. Is that enough? That should be enough. I'm not doing Poloniex, I'm not doing KSX. Yeah, let's try with this. Yeah, what the fuck, bro? Feel the wick, huh? Okay, I'm gonna use the crypto chart because that's clearly the one with the most data. So get rid of you, get rid of you, get rid of you, keep you, get rid of you. 0.006. Yeah, we'll stay with this one. Okay, so for coins like this, we all know the power of logarithmic. The exact same reason why SPX pumps so hard. Is there a reason why we've blasted off to where we are? Of course there is. This thing can go higher. I don't think it's topped out yet. Anywhere between 34 cents to 80 cents, and around, for now, I'll say 43 to 59 cents, right? Well, there's no way this is topping out here. I don't see it. I think this goes higher. This range over here. Once it does top out in these areas, that's literally the handbook of what SPX did, if you guys remember, right? So once we do top out this particular, if we top out in this particular area, you'll be looking for inverted smiley faces, standard distribution to try and catch a short. I will not be a hero and market short this, right? Anyone that's going to be showing you a short PNL from these random areas, look, I promise you, they just open a shit ton of shorts, got stopped how many, one stock, and now just sharing that like, yep, look at me, I won't bank this trade. People always do that, right? There is absolutely no reason I see for why anyone should just jump in and random shorts over here. There's absolutely no way. So I think we get high prices. If not, you just wait for this, right? Who cares? Just wait for the drop, flip something back into resistance. You got a nice short to take this back down. Like, you know, 50% drop from here if you catch this, pretty much, right? Yeah, something like this, 60%. That'll still be a really nice short. Just don't be a hero and try to market short now. I don't see it. I don't see why you would top out here. 34 cents to 80 cents. Big range, but in price discovery, you're going exponential. It's gonna be a wide range, right? Motherfuckers don't understand what exponential means, what parabolic means. 34 to 80 cents, that's your target. Might sound like I'm trying to, you know, just give a random range, but I'm not. You guys know why, right? Here's your first, here's your second, here's your third, here's your fourth. If you want singular lines, 34 cents, 43 cents, 59 cents, and then 80 to 82 cents. But yeah, very simple. I would not even touch this coin. You're not going to buy here, you're not going to short here. Just wait for it to give you something you can actually do. You can't do anything with this right now. So that, I'm just going to circle this. I'm sure Rocky will look at the I'm sure Rocky will look at it on the recording, but I'm going to reply here just in case. Don't do anything until either the circle hits or you lose 0.5. Right, and the next one, that one should have been clear enough, right? There we go. Oh, he's still here, brother. Okay, nice. Hang on. Oh, I mean, I thought you left for some reason. Okay, no, yeah, there you go, bro. I thought you left, which is why I put it in the chat. Yeah, those analysts go crazy, huh? Right. And the next one we're going to be looking at is LPT for my bro As Peasant, right? What is LPT? I don't think have I heard of this one before. Chart requests. So let's look at LPT. LPT looking juicy. Okay, let's take a look. LPT USD. One sec before I forget, so I can come back to you guys. I'm just gonna set an alert here, and I'm gonna what's up? There you go. Shouldn't matter, mate. It's just an alert. There, okay, those are the two levels I'll set alerts on. I'm like forcibly telling myself to set alerts on these levels, right? Because I always forget. But there was a really great entry on Farcoin we missed, right? I literally shared it, right? I'll show you guys in a minute. But I'm not in Farcoin right now, and I'm so pissed because it was a setup I gave like way ahead of time. No alerts is what it is. Like, in next thing you check, you've already up like some ridiculous percent from where you would have entered. But let's look at LPT first, and then I'll show you that Farcoin chart. Okay. Live Peer, Gemini, not heard of that in a while. Coinbase, OKEx, Kraken, Crypto, Binance, and then we have Binance, OKEx, HTX, KuCoin, BitGet, CoinEx, Mexigate. That's more than enough. Blowfin. Okay, let's see which one has the most data. Am I even looking at the right one? Is this it? Well, I wish bro was in the chat. I'm guessing this is it, right? That's the only thing that's LPT, unless it's a stock. Right, that's fine. I get paranoid about this stuff. 1 second. So this starts from 26th of April 2021. June, yeah, you can get axed. Yeah, you can get axed. You can get axed. There we go. That's more like it. 2019. Doesn't look bad when you look at it like that, to be honest. I don't think we're going to get older chart, but let's just speed run it. Nope. 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 No way, nope, yeah, nope. Nope, and nope. So where's the exchange from? It's the crypto exchange, okay. Not exchange, sorry, ticker. I mean, ever since 2020, it's not technically made a new low. It'll be easy to see on log, won't it? That's a double bottom unlock to it. That doesn't look bad, to be honest. No, it doesn't look bad at all. Hang on. One. Two. Oh, damn. 3 and 4. And then I'll just go, actually, do you know, why did I do that on the monthly? One, 2, 3. Okay, that's the 3 areas of resistance. Why does this not look bad? Well, that's clearly SR, right? Very clearly SR. And we need buy seller zones for this, I reckon. So let's create a group of drawings. That doesn't look bad at all. Let's take a look. We have, let's go based off the seller zone. $20.20. Right, so we have 2020 12-month seller zone low, 2020 12-month seller zone mid. You have your 2020 high. Okay. If you wanted more data for this, how would you do it? I would do it off, like, you know, the reactionary level. So it would be, you know what, I would just do this, very simple, and that would be 23.24. Lovely. Okay, 2024 low, 2023 high, 23/24, 12-month, no, 12-month buy seller zone mid. That should be more than enough for key levels, to be honest. You don't have to put every single one on. So then if you look at it, you rated, is there any particular reason why? Okay, no, there is. One sec. If it's significant, we put it down. The last significant piece of data we have is this one. That is 2018. Of course we put that down. Am I stupid or what? 2018 12-month buy zone. No, 2018 low. 2018 12-month buy zone mid. 2018 12-month buy zone high. There. Okay, between that we have all the actual key ranges marked out, right? There we go. So rated 2018 low, and now you are currently flipping 2024 low into support. That doesn't look bad whatsoever. How would I manage risk? How would I manage risk? I would manage risk like this at this particular moment in time. If you want to scalp, you want a super tight risk management, you do this. Okay. Personally, I think the safest bet would basically be to do something like this. It's still a bit wide, so you're 20, 40, 48 if you're trying to get into some spot. But hang on, before I actually give an entry model on this, let's look at log again, because these are 12. Come on, man. 12-month buy seller zones. Yep, that's good. Honestly, I don't think this looks bad. This does not look bad whatsoever. Got a lot of sell side to take out, you can see, right? Target, 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 target. It's a massive liquidity arc to take out. Question is the low in. That's always the hard part, trying to decipher it. Do I see enough structure to warrant a long? Well, we see smiley faces popping up already, which is good. There was a smiley face at the lows. What about the daily? No liquidity rates happened yet on the daily in terms of all of this buy side liquidity. So maybe I would this would be a spot play. Yeah, I would go maximum 30% at this particular area. Or if you wanted to risk more, like 50, 60, whatever, right? You would put it in, but you would cut like half your position size if you ever lost the 2024 low. Okay, this is how I would do it. and then you would try to DCA when you like, you know, basically stab back into this range, and maybe you put one more. Like I like to see something like this, right? I like to see something like a smiley face followed by a second, even if it's distributive or cumulative, like a second confirmation. So a stab down into these lows, you would add back over there basically. But if you decided to go, like, you know, you could go all in here if you wanted to. Like, it's completely up to you. But if you, the higher your position size, the more you're going to have to make sure that should you get below 5.9469, you cut position. Right? This looks like a low liquid coin anyway, because look at the candles, they speak volumes. That's on the daily, and it looks like barcodes, right? So it's very low liquidity. Position accordingly. But however, no, you are completely right as Peasant in the sense that this does not look bad whatsoever. At the end of the day, that is a very, very clean flip that is currently being attempted. So okay, your first line of defense is 5.9469. Doesn't matter what your position size is here. 20, 40, 40, use it to your discretion. But your invalidation doesn't change no matter how you enter. It's going to be around 5.9469, right? If you start closing candles below this, or you turn this to resistance, cut some of your position size. Since it's spot, you don't have to fully close everything, right? But cut some of your position size in case you go lower. You can just add more and bring your average down, okay? But this looks good. Let's look at it, however, in log once, right? Let's look at it in log and analyze. Is there anything else we've missed? Is there anything else we have? That's a golden pocket tap, 382. Not bad. That looks like a 1.5 pretty much, or a 1.414 maybe. If I did this. Yeah, 1.5, right? So that's fine. So if you wanted one log based key levels, this would be it. Front run liquidity rates, you can see working its magic. Again, another reason why the 586 is currently holding. Yeah, I think a dive down to this would be really, really nice, right? So here's your cluster currently. As long as you can hold this, you are going to be going higher. This is why I'm saying this is your line in the sand, right? If this is lost, then I think you dive down towards these areas where you would just slowly, again, just average in, right? Depending on where buy stepped in. So, but you're completely right in the sense that this does look good because old range resistances are being flipped into support right now. So I cannot fade something that looks like that, to be honest. That doesn't look bad. This will not be a confident buy yet, but it would be a confident risk management entry here. Okay, because super easy to manage your risk right now. Hopefully you can see that. You get below this, like you could go all in. I'm not, of course, I'm never someone that recommends going all in, but like, you know, just as an example, if you wanted to, doesn't matter what position size you go in with, you're going to start cutting position size if the 2024 low is lost. You turn that to resistance. Now this cluster between the 2024 low and the 2025 first half 6 month buy zone high, this right here, 618. So 618 to 594, if that's lost, just lower your position size so you can average down a bit lower again. I wouldn't cut fully because that's just asking to get chopped up, right? For a low liquid coin like this, just cut like half position size or something until you either get back above or you go down to those deeper levels. But no, you're completely right in saying this does not, it honestly does not look bad. Like I think you're holding the key levels you need to hold, right? Look, you're holding it. And you know, above that we see you get minimum pumps up towards here, which has happened already. And if you ever get above $10 on this shit coin, then you're gonna get very easily, you can see you're gonna go towards 27 to 30. So you know, that's not a bad spot. Again, it's probably not something I'm going to be looking at for myself in the port, but if you're still interested in buying this LPT, go for it. Right, you don't have to follow my port exactly. Like I'm just focusing on a few coins because I like them, right? By no means am I saying my coins are superior to this. So if you want some of this, just exercise the risk management that I just described, and you should be fine, bro. I don't think he's in the stream, so let me again. I'm just going to tell him to watch the stream because I can't be asked to type all that out. Hang on. just put check the stream for the info. That's fine. But yeah, so that is LPT, right? Oh, this doesn't look bad though. I'll keep an eye on it. Right. So see, I think was somebody sending more requests? One sec. Could have sworn I saw. No, okay, I must be imagining things. All right, I'll do another stream like either tomorrow or Friday anyway, right? Where I go over like more altcoins. BTC to 500k. I don't think that's gonna happen this cycle. I don't know how long. I don't think. I don't know. Would it be possible? Maybe, but okay, yeah, that's that. We do have a new comer to the server. It should be Jasper. Yeah, all right, nice. Jasper's in. Okay, so right, let me check. Am I missing anything? No. Okay, so either tomorrow or day after, I'll do a altcoin stream where I won't go over Bitcoin and ETH since that always takes a lot of time for me. So we'll go over altcoins instead. Aptos, AVAX, SWI, Say. I do want to quickly show Farcoin, right? That level we were talking about, and this is so annoying because we had this marked out, right? I just didn't have alerts on. Take a look. What were we saying? We were saying circle areas are my areas of interest 1. We literally filled it. I had no alerts. So I'm not in this. I'm not in this at all. Right. And then now we've got that reclaim. That would have been a nice entry. Missed that one as well. So yeah, this is just utter shambles right now. I'm hoping we get I'll just look for an entry if you flip this back into support. Otherwise that $1 area there, that would have been the entry I was looking for. Again, no alerts, right? I'm actually so bad with it. I always forget. I genuinely just forget to set alerts. So but yeah, hopefully we get some sort of type 2. If we get a type 2, I'll get in, but honestly I don't think we're gonna get a type 2, so we'll see. I'd be glad if we did, but if we don't, it's what it is, right? I'm plenty positioned anyway. I don't care if I don't end up being positioned in this, but I do want to position in this because I do think Farcoin does well. I think it does really, really well. So but yeah, we did hit that. So if anyone else had set their alerts up, you'd have got a really, really good entry, right? We talked about this all the way back over here, right? We talked about this entry. So yeah, this was a really, really nice entry. And the other one, of course, is Launchcoin. Both of these were shared. I am in a Launchcoin swing. Why? Because we got this. Right, where's it gone? Mother, 1 second. This one then. Should be here. No? Yeah, there we go. The Gartley, right? We were talking about the Gartley 786. That's hit, right? So I'm in a Launchcoin swing, falling wedge. But yeah, Farcoin just completely missed. It's what it is. If you get that pullback, then I will enter on Farcoin at a type 2. I'm actually praying for a local drop for that very reason. Extremely pissed when I mark something out and I don't. Launchcoin's been really good for harmonics. If anyone's talking about harmonics, deep crab for the top, right? We took that short. We had that Gartley. We said eventually it's probably gonna get hit. That's been hit nice, still within the falling wedge. Yeah, this is good. Launchcoin looks good. I mean, if the top isn't in yet and Bitcoin does give some manipulation drop, you could see even 0.015. Wait, are we gonna see that? Actually, no. Forget what I'm saying. I don't think we see that low for Launchcoin. But maybe one more drop here for a 3 dry pattern, right? Maybe the 886 for the deep Gartley. That'd be nice. But yeah, I'm in a Launchcoin swing. We're gonna keep sizing on until we actually break out of the falling wedge, or I get stopped out. Right, it's what it is. That's what I keep doing with leverage, right? But I'm swing leveraging. I don't care if I get stopped out, as long as my thesis is still intact. I can try again, right? Stopped out break even, that is. Right? I do care if I get stopped out because I took a shit trade. But yeah, I mean Launchcoin. I'm just so pissed because yeah, that one was it was fully fully marked, right? The other Launchcoin chart we were looking at, I just didn't enter, but that'd have been really nice for the challenge account. That'd have been up just 1.5k again on the challenge account. But yes, what it is. Right, anyway, that's gonna be it from me today, guys. I will get back to you guys on another stream tomorrow or day after. Um, like I said, I'm really sorry. I know I had one-on-ones with a few people. I know, right, I know you're one of them, bro. I think I might have to cancel this week because I've got so many places I need to be at. But over the next 2 weeks, I will be more free because I don't have as many appointments with other people. So we'll just get it sorted. We'll just get something locked in for something over the next 2 weeks, basically, for everyone. Yo, hey Adam, how you doing, brother? Hope you're good, man. Your bed shaker, hey brother. Yeah, so many. I don't know who's DM me, who hasn't. Right, I've got some notifications, load of notifications that haven't even come in. I've got so many messages to get through. So yeah, we'll catch up soon, bro, for sure. Yeah, I can see your names among one of the DMs. I haven't had a time to look through the DMs yet. I've got about like 15 on reds, and then another like double triple that I have quickly read through and just not had a time to reply to. So, but, we'll get through that. But yeah, that was a quick update, guys. The 6-month close is beautiful, basically. Don't get chopped up. That's what I'm gonna say. Don't get chopped up. Even if we do get a drop, going into July. I do think the blow off top scenario would still be on, right? I would just be a bit later than we expected. Unless we spend a long time accumulating for the smiley face, in which case I'd say it's more of a normal cycle scenario. But you guys already know my thoughts on that. So if there's any other questions you guys have, right? Just put it in crypto chat. I'll get back to you when I can. And apart from that, either tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I'll do a altcoin stream too, like a part 2 of this stream basically. If you have any alts you want me to look at for that, just either bring it into the stream itself or put it in chart requests and I'll go over it in the altcoin stream. Okay. Doesn't have to be just alts. It can be stocks as well, like anything. I will go over it. Which reminds me, I was when I was going to London, I was in the train and then I was doing some work and there was someone who said they got a tip on a company called what's it called, Laura Estee or something like this. It's like a beauty brand. They were saying, oh, that stock looks good. It's already at 40%, so I'm not gonna enter now, but that's another stock I'll keep an eye on to watch. I'll go over it when we do next stream anyway. Laurel Estee or something like this. It's like a beauty brand. You guys probably have heard of it. But apparently they've got some like cool things coming up. That was the insider tip I got. That's the one. Sorry, yeah, Estee Lauder. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Estee Lauder. Yeah. So I'll keep an eye on those. They've done pretty well over the last month. Not as well as Coinbase, which is what I've got, but still. It's always nice when you meet someone. Estee Lauder, just got a tip on that, bro, for a stock. There you go. So I'll take a look at it next stream, see if it's worth, if we're chatting shit or if it really does actually look good, right? Apparently they've got a lot of things in the pipeline because he worked pretty high up for that Estee Lauder company. So it's like, yeah, sound. Thanks for the info. But yeah. Alright guys, right, I'm really gonna have to dip now. I'll talk to you guys soon. Put this on YouTube.